whether my screen is visible and I'm audible to all of you. And then we will start. Okay, great. Okay, so the first question is, what is the purpose of the nested if-else statement in Python? Guys, first question, it's very simple, huh? Why we are using the nested if-else statement? To check multiple conditions simultaneously, to skip the rest of the code, to exit the program, to repeat the code. Why we are doing it? A, B, C, D. Which one would be correct? Nested means, so if you guys remember, what is a nested one? So there is a if, and inside if you are writing another if. Okay, and then some set of code, right? And then there is an else. So this is what we call as a nested, right? So why we are using it? Oh, I did not share the link. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, this is the link. So tell me, which one is the correct answer? To check multiple conditions simultaneously, to skip the rest of the code, to exit the program, or to repeat the code? No one knows this. Why we are using it? A, yes. To check the multiple conditions simultaneously. We are not skipping the code, right? We are not exiting the program. We are not repeating the program. We are checking multiple conditions. Okay, so to check multiple conditions simultaneously. Okay, now, second one is, how many if-else statement can be nested inside each other? How many if-else statement can be nested inside each other? Any number of. Absolutely correct. What will be the output of the following code? X is equal to 5, Y is equal to 3. If X is greater than 10, okay, then inside this condition, we are checking if Y is greater than 2. Okay, then it will print this part. Otherwise, it will print this part. If this condition fails, then it will print this part. So what will be the output of this one? So yes, the correct answer is C. X is less than or equal to 10. Why? Because this condition itself is false. So this part is not going to be executed at all. Okay, this is false. So it will simply run the else block and it will print X is less than or equal to 10. Very good. Can an elif statement be used inside a nested if-else statement? Yes. When you are using the nested if-else, so between that, you can use the elif statement. Okay. So you can write something like this. Inside a if, then you can write if then elif, then one more elif, and then else. We already did that in our grade code, right? So you can use that. Next one is, what is the advantage of using a nested if-else statement? Reduce code readability, increase code complexity, improve code organization and logic, or decrease the code execution speed? C. Yes, very good. C is the correct answer. Okay, so this is the quiz for today. Now, let's go back to our last topic that we were discussing, uh, and that is the while loop. Okay. So into the while loop, I have given this question to you guys. Okay. Before that, we saw that how does the while loop actually works. Okay, so here we have written a very small piece of code. Okay. And you can see that if it is 1 and 0. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how does the while loop work? So while is basically a loop in Python. Okay, and it is used when you have to run a code block multiple times. We have to make sure that in every run, the controlling variable, okay, controlling parameter, not the variable. So this is a one condition, okay, controlling condition that we have. Based on this particular loop execute. N is 0, condition is true, then this part will be execute, and we have to change the value of n. Okay, so that after some time this will terminate. Okay, what will happen if I just remove this line? Okay, if I just remove this line, then the code will run till infinity. Okay, so actually there is no infinity. So it will run till it will exhaust all the memory of my computer, and then the Python will crash. Okay, so if I just comment this line, so that's why it is very important whenever you are using a while loop, you have to make sure that after a certain number of execution, your code must terminate. Okay, so there will be a terminating condition. Okay, so I'm just writing, okay, while n is less than 5 and print n. So n value is just a 0. Okay, so I will just run this, and now you can see this goes on and on. Okay, you can see over here. So it will, I have to stop it. Okay, my computer is already crashed. I have to stop it. Wait a second. Let's stop it. Okay, so it actually crashed my whole system. Okay, so we have to make sure that every time, okay, every time, let's say if I'm putting this value, if I do an incremental search, if n is greater than equal to 0, means, and I'm using the n plus 1, so that every time my number will change and I can show you how long it will take. So what happens is that I have put it a value 0 over here. So this condition is true, and then I'm adding 1 to it. So when a value is 0 and every time you are adding 1, then this condition will never be false. The n value will always be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so if it is greater or equal to 0, this loop will never terminate. So if I just run this, okay, then you can see the numbers are going to be printed till infinity. Okay, there is no infinity. So let me just stop it. Otherwise, the whole Jupyter will crash. Okay, stop, please stop. Kucha bhai. Okay, so it is still printing. I'm trying to interrupting it. Okay, it's interrupted now. Now you can see that how many times it actually executed. Okay, so there is a huge bar. Okay, so I can just drag it and you can see some numbers over here like Okay, so this much of the numbers are there. Okay, and it is just this much bar. Okay, it's already 1,21,000. So like below the numbers are huge. Okay, so this many this many times the loop was actually executed before it stopped. So that's why whenever we are working with the loop, we have to make sure that after a certain times a loop is executed, it must be terminated. Okay. So that's why I have written when n is less than equal to 5. Means I just want to run it 0 to 5 times. Okay. So after this many time when the value becomes 6, n value becomes 6, then the loop was terminated. Okay. So I have given this particular caution to all of you. Okay. Just a 2 to 3 line of code. How many of you have solved it? Can you give your answers in the chat box? It's very simple and I have already solved it on day before yesterday. How to do that? Like first 10 even number. Can anyone open their mic and let me know that what changes I need to do in this code? The code block will be same. Okay. All I need to do is just change couple of things into it. So what are the changes I need to do in this? For printing the first 10 even number. Anyone, any idea? I'm not expecting a perfect answer. Whatever is coming in your mind, just speak. Okay, don't resist yourself. It's not your university class where you guys are just sitting idle. Okay, don't consider it that it is a normal universe. Just interact with me, man. Consider me your friend. Okay, me. Okay, Madhusudan. Can you open your mic and explain me like how I can print? Right now, this code is printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How I can print 10 even numbers, Madhu?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, come again, man.
Sir, first we have to change n is less than or equal to 10.
N is less than equal to 10. Okay, I want first 10 even number. So up to 10, you will not get 10 numbers of the even like 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. It is just a 6 even number, right?
Yes, sir.
If you count the first 10 even number, then it will go up to 18.
Yes, sir.
So instead of 10, we can go with 18. Okay, now
Then
it
we
will,
have to place a condition for the n is divisible by 2 or equal to 0, then it is even.
okay, so you are basically trying to check whether a number is even or not, then you want to print,
Yes,
correct? Okay, so yeah, that's a good approach what Madhu is trying. So he's saying we can check if n modulo 2 equal 0. Okay, then only he want to print the value and then he increment the value by 1. So this code will also give you the same output what you want. So these are the first 10 even number that I wanted. Okay. Now, Madhu, I just want to add one thing. You can write this code without using a conditional statement. You are using it very good. Excellent. But you can reduce the complexity because there is a one extra computation now. Okay, so
yes,
it's a computation that it will check a condition, then a operation of a modulo, then a operation of a comparison. So this is not a efficient code. What I can do is I want 0, 2, 4. So instead of incrementing 1, I can just increment the value 2.
yes, sir.
Okay, I can remove this part and then I can fix the indentation. And now you can see that the same code, this code is giving me the same output, which I was getting earlier. So I started with 0, then I incremented the value by 2. So I got 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, right? Now, what about the first 10 odd numbers if I want?
So then we have to start with n is equal to 1.
n is equal to 1. Okay. Any other changes?
Mm, no, sir.
No? Let's run it. So we got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, then 11, 13, 15, and 17. You
No.
ended it at 18.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's why I did not consider the 10th value, which is 19. So
Yes, sir.
19 is the 10th value. Okay, so we started with 1, goes till 19, and incremented the value by 2. Okay, now this one is simple. First in natural number. So natural number starts from 1. So what I have to do? What will be the value of n?
Less than or is equal to 10 or incremented by 1.
Less than equal to 10. Very good. Incremented by 1. Okay. So this time natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to infinity. Okay. So I want the value up to 10. So I just put it less than equal to 10, whether n value is less than or equal to 10. Condition will true. And every time I'm incrementing the value by 1. Okay. First in whole number. Whole number starts from 0.
N is equal to 0, n is less than 10.
N is less than 10. Very clever. Okay. Because whole number starts from 0 and the first 10 whole numbers are 0 to 9. Okay, so you can either use less than equal to 9 or you can use less than 10. Okay, so this is how you can simply use the while loop to doing something, the basic. Keep this structure of the while loop in your mind. Okay, only thing in the while loop majorly changes whatever you are writing over here. Instead of printing the value, we will do some operations. Okay, the conditions and the increment, decrement, all these things will be kind of similar. Okay, so that's how the while loop works, the basic funda. So is it clear to everyone, the while loop? Anyone have any doubts or any question in the while loop? Or how does it work? Or how I have written this? Anyone? Any doubts? Any questions? No? Great. Okay. Now, I just wanted to write this code. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to print two things. Okay. You have to write a program to print first and positive integer and their square. For an example, you have to print side by side. Okay. So first 10 positive integers are 1 to 10. We just saw how to print 1 to 10. Very simple. Take a value of n from 1, run a while loop up to 10, print the value of n and increment it value by 1, and it will print 1 to 10. All you need to do is, while you have to print, you also need to print the square of it. So what you will do? You already know that whenever you need to print something, okay, print two thing, you can take a square. Okay, and put it, first of all, you need to take the square of it and just put it by a separator of a comma in your print statement. Okay, and that will do the job for you. For an example, here, this is what I want. 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, and 9, 4 and 16, 5, 25, 10, 100, and so on. Okay, so what I have done, I have taken the value 1, n is less than 10, print n, and n multiply by n. You can also use the exponential for the square, that is n multiply to the power 2. Okay, that is exponential operator. So I'm just multiplying it with n and then I'm printing it. If you run this, you can see I'm getting my desired output. So on the left row, sorry, on the first column that I'm getting, it is the first 10 natural numbers. Okay. And then I'm getting a square of the same number. What I added, a one thing, and multiply by n. That's it. Okay. So it was a simple question. Now, if I move forward, okay. So first of all, I request all of you to please open your Jupyter notebook and write this code for me. Go and write it. I will give you a couple of minutes for it, and then only I will move forward because this basic concept clearing is important. Okay. Go and write this code first and send your code snippet in the chat box. Guys, if you are facing any issue or any problem, please ask. You guys are not asking the question. You guys are not giving the answer. So how would I know that whether you guys are able to understand the things or not? Hmm? If you are not able to understand, not able to write, just ask me. I will help you. I will explain it again. Okay? If you understood, then give me the answers. Okay, I got a code from Madhu. Uh, n is equal to 1, n is less than equal to 10, print n and a space and multiply by n, print and n by n plus 1. Yes, Madhu, that is absolutely correct. Great job, man. What about others, guys? Okay, so let me explain this one question again. Okay, so in this question, if you closely see, what I'm doing is, what I wanted is, I just want the first 10 positive integers. Okay, that I'm getting n is equal to 1. So while n is less than equal to 10, print n and multiply by n and then n plus 1. Okay, so it's what I'm doing. I have already done my first 10 natural numbers by just printing the value of n. Now I have to just put a square of it. So we can calculate it. N multiply by n and I'm getting my square value. That's it. That's what the question was asking. Okay. Now if I move forward, okay. So here if you can see that, now it's an interesting question. What you have to do is, you have to take a input from the user for the series length. Okay, in our school, we have studied one topic called as arithmetic progression or kind of a series. Okay, so you have to take an input of the length of a series from the user, and then you have to give an output like this. Okay, so suppose if the user has entered the length equal to 5, okay, then you have to print 5 numbers from this series. So I am printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 numbers and series is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay. So how to solve this problem? Just try to solve it in the real world first. Okay. Suppose I am giving you a value 7. Okay. Forget about the Python. I'm giving you that you have a length of 7 of this particular series. Then what is the answer? Don't think about the code. Just a basic simple question. Okay. I'm asking you, hey, I'm giving you a value 7. What is the output of the series? What are the element that you will get? So you will get 7 elements. So what are the 7 elements you will get? Starting from 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Right? So if I'm giving you a value of, let's say 4. Okay. So you will get 10, 20, 30, 40. So it means that whatever the value that we are getting, okay, we just need to multiply the each value by 10 and print it. Okay, just give me a second. Uh, okay, guys. So now in this particular problem, what we saw that whatever is the length that a user is giving, for example, here he is giving 5. So I just saw that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so these are the values that we are getting. Okay, and then not getting, we are only getting 5, but we know how to generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 using the while loop, right? Now I just need to multiply the value by 10 and we will get the output out of it. Okay, so 5, and I already know how to generate the value up to 5. Okay, n is equal to 1. We will go up to the length and we can simply print the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that. Okay, so let me go with this approach. So what I'm doing is, suppose I'm taking a int value, okay, enter the length. And then here, this is my, and I need a one extra variable. So let's call this instead of n, let's take it this one as n and this one as length. Okay. Now, what I have to do is I'm starting from 1 and I just want to go up to my length. So if my length is 5, then this value will replace with 5. Right now I hard coded earlier n is less than 20, n is less than 18, something we have written. Now it's a value coming from the user. And every time I need to multiply my value of n with 10. Okay. I will explain what this end is doing later. Okay. And I just need to increment my value of n. Okay. So if I just run this, put the value 5, then you can see we are getting the output 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Remember, what we are doing is in our previous code, we were just printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I'm putting 5, then it will print the value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why? Because this expression can change to what? N is less than equal to 5, right? So I'm getting a value. How many how many times I want to run the loop? Earlier we decided it into the code. Now we are just taking an input from the user. That's it. And instead of printing the value of n, I'm just printing n multiplied by 10. Okay, why? Because every value is actually multiplied by 10. As simple as that. So now if you can see, if I put 7, then it will give me the value up to 70. Okay. Now I will teach you one interesting thing. Every time when a value is printed, it is printing the next value from the next line. Okay. What I want is, I want the output to be in this format. Okay. 10, 20, 30. So for that, we have to use the end parameter. So into the print statement, you can actually change that after it execute one time from where it will write from the next line or by any separator. So in Python, the next line is the by default. Okay. If you are not doing anything, then it will print some next thing from the next line. But you can change it using the end parameter. You just need to put it into a double quotes. And then whatever the separator you want to give. Suppose I want to give a separator of comma. Okay, now it will print everything by a separation of a comma. Let's see that. Now you can see it is printing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so that's how the end operator work. Okay, so in this code, it's the main thing is we have to understand that how to generate the length. Okay, first of all, we have to take the length and then I simply decomposed it. Okay, okay, it is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is multiplied by 10. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so this expression, these values that we have written, it is nothing but 1 multiplied by 10, 2 multiplied by 10, okay, 3 multiplied by 10, and so on. Okay, and so on. So every time, whenever you have to work with the loop, okay, what you will get, you will get a sequence, or you have to find a sequence, a uniform sequence on which you can run a loop. Okay, that's the only analytical skill you need to have in this situation. Okay, now there are multiple solutions for the same question. Okay, you can try the solution by your own. Now I have a one another question. Okay, now this time again I'm asking for the series. Okay, that is not possible, Madhu. Whenever you will put a separator now, it is not possible by default. You have to do some post processing. But with the simple print, it is not possible. Okay, you can put it into a list and then open the values of the list, then you will not get a comma. But in this case, you will get it, man. Okay, it's a basic print statement. Okay, now this is another question. Okay, so this time again, a user is giving a length of the series. Now this time, instead of incrementing the value 10, 20, 30, it is a decremental value. Okay, 100, it starts from 100. And if a user is saying 6 value, then it will go 100, 95, 90, 85, 80, 75. So you can see there are total 6 values. Okay, if the user has given 4, then it should return the 4 values. If the user has put it 7, then it should return up to 70. Okay. Now, if I ask you, if a user is giving an input of, let's say 3, then what will be the output for the value 3? What will be the output? 100, 95, 90. Very simple. These are the 3 values you will get. Okay. Now, if someone is entering 6, then these are the value. Now, just forget about the Python, forget about the code. Can you see any pattern over here? Or can you find any sequence over here where some operation or some numbers can be manipulated? Or basic mathematical equation can you make? Just like in the previous question, it was x multiplied by 10. Okay. And x can go from 1 to 10. Okay. 1 to any number what the user is giving. Can you find that type of expression over here? 100, 95, 90, 85. There are so many, but try to find one. Multiples of 5. Okay. Multiples of 5. Where or the difference between each number is 5. So yeah, there is a difference between each number is 5 and there is a multiple of 5. So you can start with a one value you can take at 100, then you can print it and then you can subtract the value. Okay, by 5. It will print again 95. Then you will subtract the value 5 again. It will print 90, then subtract again 85, then subtract again 80. Okay, so decreasing the order from 100 to n. No, not decreasing from the 100 to n. Okay, not n. Okay, you have to count up to n. Okay, n times. Yes, that is correct. You have to do this n times. Okay, so there is one value, one thing that you can do. It's some multiples of 5. So if you can see the multiples of 5, okay, that is also a very interesting thing. Subtraction of 5 is great. Apart from this, multiples of 5 is also a very good example. That is, first one is 20 multiplied by 5. Second one is 19 multiplied by 5. Third one is 18 multiplied by 5. Not 78, sorry, my bad. Okay. Next one is 85, which is 17 multiplied by 5. So if you can see that here the sequence that we are getting is 20, 19, okay, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, and so on. Okay. So you just need to generate this sequence. How many times? You just need to generate this sequence for the number of times the user is entering the value. Okay. And then all you need to do is you have to multiply the value with 5. So that is also a one approach. Okay. Other approach is what you guys have mentioned is that you can subtract. First time it is 100. Second time it should be 100 minus 5. Okay. So this will become 95. Then next time it will be 95 minus 5. So it will become 95 minus 5, which is 90. So 90 minus 5 and so on. So this is also that you can do. Okay. All you need to take care of that the code should run length number of time. How many times the user is giving. Okay. Either you can generate this sequence or you can generate this sequence. Okay. It's completely up to you. It is all about the finding the sequence that you want to get. Okay. So here I have a code over here. Okay. Very simple code. Let's try to execute this first of all. So I'm getting the output. Okay. So this is the one where we are multiplying the value with 5. Okay. So it's a little messy code. I will show you a simpler one. But yeah, it's a very good code. And this is the one which is with the n minus 5. Okay. So if you run this, this will also give you the same output. Now let's try to understand this code, what this particular code is doing. Okay. So I have taken the starting value as 100. Okay. Because every time it will start from 100. Then I'm taking a one length L. This is not L, not 1. Let's call it as a length. Okay. Some people may confuse that I have written 1. So it's not 1, it's length. Okay. Now what I'm doing is suppose I have entered the value as 5. Okay. Then I'm checking 5 is not equal to 0. Yes, 5 is not equal to 0. I am doing this till I reach the value 0. Okay. So 5 is not equal to 0. Then I'm printing the value of n, which is 100. Very good. Then I'm not saying myself as a very good. Okay. I'm showing how simple the code is. So I'm just printing the value as 100. Then I've just put it in so that it will print in the same line. Then I reduce the value of n by 5. So n is equal to n minus 5. You can also write it as n minus equal 5. The shorthand operator you can use. Okay. So now my n value will reduce to 5. So 100 minus 5. That is 95 is the new value of n. And also I'm reducing my length. Now my length is only 4. Means 4 numbers are required. So length becomes 4. It will come again, print the value. So 4 is not equal to 0. Yes, condition is true. It will print the value of n. Okay, which is 95 now. Then 95 will become 95 minus 5. And I also reduce the length. Why I'm reducing the length? Because once it will print the value 80, okay, then it will come over here. It becomes 75. But the length becomes 0 minus 1 minus 0. Okay. 1 minus 1, sorry. It becomes 0. The moment my length will become 0, means that loop execute 5 times, this expression will returns as a false. Okay. This expression will return as false. And then you can simply come out of the loop. So it's a very simple code and we are getting the values. Okay. in this notebook, there are multiple solutions for this code. Okay, you can go and try all of them by your own with the different logics. Okay, this is the one where it is the multiplication one, where I'm using the 20 multiplied 5 and so on. So I have a input number, how many times I want this particular value. Then I have set it two variable. One is the I and another one is the J, two iterator. So I am using for counting how many time my loop is running. Okay. So I started with the one. So first time one is less than equal to, let's say I'm entering the value 5 over here as well. So 1 is less than 5. Yes, condition is true. Then I'm simply printing. There is no need of this line. I can simply print 5 multiplied by j. Okay, or j multiplied by 5. So what the first number that we got? It starts from 20, then 19, then 18. So I simply started with 20. Okay, let's call it as start, or let's call it as j. Okay. So I simply started with 20, then 20 multiplied by 5, that is 100. Then I increase my value of I by 1, means I increase my counter. Now I am running it for the second time. So I value will become 2 and I reduce the value of j. What is j? J is this one. So 20 become 19. It will come over here. So 2 is less than equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. 19 is multiplied by 5. So this expression, and I will got 95. Okay. So it will run till my I becomes 5. The moment it becomes 5, so 5 is less than equal to n. Yes, condition is true. And it will print this value of j. And then when it becomes 6, 6 is less than equal to n? No. Then it will come outside of it. Okay. So if you print the value of I over here, you can see the value that you will get is 6. I value is updated to 6. Okay. And this is the output that we are getting over here. Okay. So this problem is little tricky. The upper one where we are just printing this sequence, this is the simpler one. So what I would request you to please go and practice the different problems. Okay. And the different solutions that we are having in this particular notebook. There are hell lot of problem in this particular notebook. You can try and you can use it. Okay. Now, the last question of the day is, it's very interesting question again and very important question. In so many of the beginner level interview, they generally ask this particular question. Okay. What you have to do is you have to write a program which can compute the factorial of a number. Okay. You have to take an input from the user and you have to calculate the factorial. For example, if a user has entered the value 5, then its factorial can be calculated as 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. And then the output will be 120. Okay. So this is what you have to do. So again, if you can see that if a number is 5, okay, then you can generate the value up to 5. You know how to generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we know that where I'm writing this one, or I'm writing 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5. In both cases, I will get the same result, 120. You already know how to do the sequence, print the value up to 5. All you need to do is every time you need to multiply it with the last result. Okay. And that also I have written over here. Fact multiply by n. Okay. So n is the value that you are generating. Change the value of n and every time update the value of fact. Fact initial value will be 1. Okay. Take one variable. Can you please try to write this code by your own? Just generate the first 5 value first of all. First step is generate the value from 1 to 5. Take it as a 5. Okay. Generate the value of 1 to 5. And then take one extra variable and multiply the value of n in the same expression. Okay, that's it. That's the only thing you have to do. Try to write this code. It's very simple. Please do that.
ஏழாம் திருமுறை நான் போய் ஏழாம் திருமுறை எடுத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த கொள்ளை கொலவாரம் இருக்கு. இதுல வந்து திருத்தொண்ட தொகை அடுத்த ரெண்டாவது இன்னைக்கு ஒரு நாளைக்கு பாருங்க. இப்ப 9 மணிக்கு ரீடிங்.
Guys, who are someone able to do that? Okay, let's try to understand this problem. Okay, this problem is a very interesting problem and it actually creates a foundation for a very interesting concept. Okay, so let's try to understand this quickly. So, what we have to do is, if you can see, I just need to take the one value for which I want to calculate the factorial. Okay. Then I know one thing. Okay. That one, if I have to calculate the factorial of 5, then it can be calculated as 1 multiplied by 2 multiply by 3 multiply by 4 multiply by 5. And this will give me the result as 120. That's what factorial is. Okay. So I already know how to generate a sequence up to 5. So I'm going to first do that. First, I will try to generate a sequence up to 5. Okay. So here I'm taking a length. Let's suppose I'm going to take this input as a 5 only. Okay. Then what I will do? I can take a value of n, and n is less than equal to length. I can check. So length is 5, n is 1. So 1 is less than equal to 5, and here I will just print the value of n. Okay, let's comment this slide. Okay, so now you can see that I was able to get the 5 numbers that I wanted for my computation. All I need to do is I need to multiply the numbers with each other every time. Okay. So for the multiplication and saving the result, I need a variable. Okay. I cannot simply write, because right now the n value is 1. Next time it becomes 2. So I cannot write n into n. That is not correct. Okay. So what I have to do is I need a one more variable where I can store the multiplication of the two. So the concept is very simple. First time you will get 1. Next time you need to multiply the new number with the previous one, which is 1 multiplied by 2. So this will give you the result as 2, right? Next time I will get 3. So 2, previous value is 2, current value is 3. So 2 multiplied by 3, this will become 6. Now 6 multiplied by new number is 4, that becomes 24. Then 24 multiplied by 5, this becomes 120. So if you can see that every time I'm multiplying it with the previous value. So I just took one variable and I assigned the value 1 to it. Why 1? Because if I multiply any number with 1, I will get 1. So it will not affect the initial value. Okay. So initial value will start whatever the value of n you will give. Okay. So I have created a one variable of fact. I'm calculating factorial, so I can give the value as variable name as fact. You can give any name, completely up to you. Now, instead of printing the value of n, what I'm doing is into the fact, I am multiplying the value of n. So the current value of fact is 1, n value is 1. So 1 multiplied by 1 will be 1. Okay, let me just print the value of fact instead every time. Okay. Sorry for that. Now, what happens is, first time the value will be 1, and 1 will multiply this fact with 1. So 1 multiplied by 1, 1 will be printed. Okay, and then I incremented the value of n to 2. Okay, so if I just run this first of all. Okay, now you can see 1. Now, second time n becomes what? N becomes 2. Okay, so fact was 1 and 2 multiplied by 1, that is 2. And I'm printing the value of fact. So it is printing 2. Okay. Then n becomes 3. So it will be 2 multiplied by 3. So it becomes 6. So I'm printing the value of 6. And then 6 multiplied by 4 next time, it will be 24. So it was printing 24. Then 24 multiplied by 5, which is 120. So it is printing 120. Okay. So I just wanted the factorial, the final number. I don't want this fact to be printed every time during the computation. This is just for understanding purpose. So I can comment this, and at the outside of the loop, once my whole loop is covered, every time I have calculated the fact, the last value that the fact variable is holding, that is actually my value of the factorial. So I can print it outside the loop because I only want to print the factorial value once. Okay. So if I run this, now you can see 5. So it is giving 120. If I am printing the factorial of 10, so this is the factorial of 10. Okay, 3628800. If you want to print the factorial of, let's say, this number. So now this number's factorial exceeds the Python's max digit. Python have the sum memory. Okay, so 124. This is the value of the 124 factorial, which is huge. Okay, so this is how you can actually calculate the factorial of a number. Okay, all you need to understand is you just need a one extra variable to store the result of the factorial. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's it for today's class. I really request you, please go and watch the previous recorded session. You guys seriously needs a one revision. So go and watch the previous recorded session quickly in a 2x or 3x speed. Okay. And then try to practice some previous codes. Okay. Because from now onwards, things will start to become a little more complicated. Okay. Yeah. What link you want, Manikandan? Previous session link? Manikandan? Okay, I will ask the program manager. She will email the link to all of you today. Okay. This is the query which I'm getting a lot. So I will ask her so that she can get it. Is it not available on the portal? No. Okay, I will ask them and they can email you so that you can do a revision session. Okay. Okay, guys. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session. Let's meet on Monday. Okay, it's a weekend, so please practice it. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.